down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
What's it all about?
Salt and pepper, man. Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, okay. Brother from another mother. All right. Now, this is my friend. How long? When did you first start coming to our event? 2013? Is that what that represents?
2013 is when my dream was realized and Mr. Taylor fulfilled my dream. Put your hands together for Mr. Taylor. You might want to turn me up.
Okay.
I won't get loud.
All right. Well, this is Mr. VanCauwenbergh. If 2013 was when I first met him, I'm not sure if that's the time I first met him or the first time I actually invited him to come and speak.
That was my first time to speak.
To speak, okay. I was impressed the first time I actually saw him. Not speak with him, but just saw him. Because he brought a whole fresh look on the whole subject of landlording, property management, doing some things that I wasn't doing, encourage the rental property owners in the room to kind of consider some things a little bit differently.
Yeah, where's Ron at? Where's Ron?
Where's who?
Ron. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Why? What's up with
He's
him?
the first one. We're gonna murder people today.
Oh, okay.
The title, we changed the title, murder.
All right. Well, you know, he's got so much he's ready to share.
Come on, man. Let's get off the microphone.
Let me get off this. Get off the stage. If you would help me welcome, and I'm going to say his name because it took me 2 years before I could even get his name
10
right.
years.
Mr. VanCauwenbergh.
All right. When you get older, you figure out what you're made for, what you're good at. I like to entertain people. This is going to be a comedy show. I'm going to offend a few people. Just going to get that disclaimer out right now. If you're offended at all, you can leave now. If you're soft, you should leave now. Is that you, sir? Amen. Ron is scared to death of what I'm about to say. Before we kill Ron, murder, this is really my dream. I wrote a book in 2012 called The Savvy Landlord. Mr. Taylor took a chance on me, and my goal is to be the best teacher. Not to be arrogant, but I want to give you as much information as possible, as fast as possible, and I talk really fast. Is that true? You've seen me before? Okay. First of all, let's raise your hand if you've heard of Mr. Beast. Okay. All right. Here we go. We got a real Mr. Beast chocolate bar. You know what I'm talking about? These children do. Yeah. Who else knows about Mr. Beast? All right, who wants to tell me about Mr. Beast? Anybody? Tell me about Mr. Beast. What is he? What is he about? What does he do?
He's a YouTuber that goes and gets random people and does these challenges for money, and it's hard to explain what he does because it's never the same thing.
Well, okay, let's be clear. How many followers does Mr. Beast have?
North of 5 million, I think.
Like 30 million. This dude is off the chain. He how many?
Over 90 million.
Over 90 million subscribers. Mr. Beast. If you haven't heard of Mr. Beast, you guys can just go home today. Here's the great thing about Mr. Beast. He knows how to leverage. Okay? My whole thing today, tomorrow, I'm going to talk about commercial real estate, but it's about leverage. You got to leverage. We're going to get into it deep. But Mr. Beast has his own chocolate factory, and he's never set foot in there. He has, if you Google this up, Mr. Beast Burger, he sells his burger out of ghost kitchens. Okay? Now, has anybody ever heard of a ghost kitchen before? Okay, all this is what I'm trying to expand your mind right now, because that's what I want you to do, is change your mindset from today forward. Can we try to do that? Is that possible? You got to say yes. And I'm not Anthony Robbins. I'm not going to try to get all wild. But these are the 4 times I spoke here. And every time I come, I have all new material. There's nothing I'm going to say today that I've never said before. Okay, so get excited, because I'm excited. That's my name. You can Google me up. I don't know. I wrote that book. And my main goal here is for you to leverage. Mr. Beast, 90 million people leverages He's never flipped a burger, and I can't imagine how many millions of dollars, because he uses other people's kitchen as leverage. Okay? He gives them the recipe. Do you guys understand? I want you to do that in your business. Now, let's start off with, all right, we'll get to Ron in a minute. This is my little story. I was born in Dover, New Jersey, 1973. My dad left. He's a loser. This is real quick, down and dirty. Mr. Taylor said, hey, we don't want to talk about you today. All right, okay. So I condensed all my slides and I threw them up on there. I had a simple dream to just live in a house. So I was born with a brother who went to a foster home. My dad left, and we lived in a one-bedroom apartment all the way until I was about 15 years old. My mom lived on the couch, and I lived in the one bedroom. I just had a simple dream to live in a house. It could have been a rental house. That was my first dream. If you knew where I came from, and I'm trying to paint a picture for you, and we don't have enough time today I have over 550 units. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you can do with the word leverage. Okay, leverage now. So I'm from Oklahoma. I was born in New Jersey. Went to California. Met my dad for the first time when I was 16. And then from there, I got saved, came to know Jesus July 29th, 1991. Bang, bang. You can clap for that. It's okay if you're not a Christian. You may go to hell. That's all right. I'm not mad. I know where I'm going to go. And you don't have to believe in him. That's okay. But I do. I became a DJ. I connected with somebody else that was a DJ. Was my man from Cincinnati. There you go. And that was my second dream, was to own a business. And then I was OD overweight guy. Has anybody saw me? I know Peggy, right? Is that her name? Did you see me when I weighed like over 200 something pounds? Oh man, that's another story. We could do a whole class on how to lose weight. Then I was overweight, lover, on the edge of destruction. And I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Everybody, if you haven't read the book, blah, blah, blah. You need to read my man's book. He wrote a book, right? I got a copy of it. My young author right here. Right there. You got a real book. Put it up, man. Don't be shy. We're trying to sell copies. All right. And it was my first time that I heard this thing called a duplex. I didn't know what a duplex was. This is how ignorant I was. And this band I was working with, they were touring the country, and they would never worry about money because they lived in a duplex. They owned it, and they rented out the left side, and they lived on the right side, and they lived for free. I was like, that's possible to live for free? Sign me up. And that's how I got the book. I went to an auction in 1999. I had no money, and that's how it all started. My first private loan was from my mom. My mom lived in a trailer park in California. I called her up. Hey, I just went to this auction. I raised my hand, and I owe $14,500. And I thought it was going to be no joke. Like, I could just get a car. I mean, my first house was September 1999. You can look it up in the county assessor, 620 Northwest 31st Street, Oklahoma City. And I bought that for $14,500, and I wrote a hot check. You anybody know what that is? I know you the millennials. But back then, auctions were only 5%. So I wrote a check for $750, and I thought it was going to be no big deal. I was walking in, and every bank laughed at me, said, "What's a DJ?" And I was like, "You don't know what a DJ is?" They thought I was a drug dealer. And so they just ignored me. And I was about to lose this house. I called my mom. My mom called Bank of America. They were laughing at her. You're like, "You're trying to borrow $14,000? No problem." And that's my first crib. Okay? So that's my story real fast. Everybody, and of course, I'll take questions whenever you want to. Just kind of raise your hand, then we'll move you over to the mic. So, I just read this book, literally. I love how Jesus talks to you, and he tells you something. And I'm like, this is the one message that you needed to receive today. Not only to leverage, but this one thing. Most people that fail to achieve things they're not capable of is what's the number one reason? What do you think it is? The number one reason? Fear. I think they don't believe it's possible. What I'm about to show you what is possible is unbelievable. I couldn't even comprehend. They believe success it's for other people. It's for that person. You're going to see my success. You're like, oh, because he's gregarious, or he's sexy, or he's tall, or he's black, or he's white. Well, you see, you keep pushing it. You failed to think big. The tools that I'm about to tell you the course, all these courses that people sell, whatever, the coaching, to change your belief. You got to believe. Can you write believe down? Can everybody just write the word believe down so we can get a mental game on the hand game so we know what the game we're playing? And I love notes. So this is my journey. In 1999, I bought the first deal. 9 deals. I owner finance because I was broke. I didn't believe it. Self-esteem. Except for my mom did that one for me. Then right after my mom's deal, went into owner finance. I can go into detail on all these. 2006 was my first investor loan. Did 10 deals. And it was possible. I just believed that it was possible. I had no idea how to get there, but I believed that I could do it. It said in Rich Dad Poor Dad, it said, buy assets and you could be rich. Well, I was tired of being poor my whole life, living in a 1-bedroom. I'm tired of that deal. And in 2012, I started The Savvy Landlord. 2013, did 23 deals. And during this time, I did not know there was like I guess you could say pandemic, but there was the economy was up and down. I had no idea. My goal was what? To buy assets that make money. Now my philosophy's changed a little bit. Now it's a thing called not too many units, because units don't mean 500 units. This sounds great. It's about cash flow. And we can get into that tomorrow, because we're going to talk about bigger deals and real deals. But then I moved on from there. Then I just went ballistic. They gave me money. Went online. I tried the online auction. So I need to put up there when I was here at Mr. Landlord, because some of you guys know me before when I only had 100 units, right? Someone said to me, they met me, you only had 100 something units. Yeah, that's right. That's a long time ago, homie. We moved on. 35. Then I started selling in 2016, kind of, because I wrote a book called Rich. I wish I wrote that book. 34 Million People. But in my book, I'm kind of hypocritical. I'm like, don't sell anything, and I'm selling everything. I mean, it's really weird how my philosophy's changed. So I'm about to cut that out of the book. I started wholesaling. Then I started doing strategy, started trading up to office space. That's around 2016, 17. Then I started the radio show. I got a podcast called SavvyPodcast.com. Over 250,000 people downloaded it, 700 episodes. And it's just the way I talk, just like this. Some people think I'm black. No offense if you're black or white. People just, I thought you were black. This is just how I talk. So I don't want to be offensive to everybody, or I'm trying to play some show. Does that make sense? And people get weird when you say the word black. It's okay to say black. You can say brown. It's okay. Is anybody offended by that?
Not at all.
All right, because you'll be the first one to leave. All right. And the radio show was my wife's idea, and I was like, no, and it failed several times. And then, this thing called COVID, and I just cashed out, went debt-free. I just cashed out, refinanced, and I went 100 debt-free in my own personal world. Paid off my crib and everything. And then I started putting money in apartments, and then I got 2 units down, 2 big properties in Houston. And then in 2022, 21, around that time, I went 100% commercial. And then my goal this year was $2 million. I did that already in the first quarter. And then I had a mind shift. I got burned on a business deal. And this is interesting. This just happened to me. I bought my first piece of vacant land, and I thought I was going to be Mr. Developer. This is just sinful dumbness. Because that's just what they tell you. You go from single family, you go to commercial. That's all BS. We'll break all that down tomorrow. But I really, I got this smoking deal on this land, and I was going to build on this land. And then I tried to hire one contractor. He was actually a really good friend of mine, and then he bailed on me. Then I was like, oh no. And then I tried to hire another guy. He was like 3 times. And then I tried to hire, and then I just gave up on building. I'm like, that's just not the skill set that I want to learn. And I really don't have a desire to build. And then I just had this mind shift. I got burned on a deal, and I just kind of let go. And now I'm building storage, these business storage condos. And then we can talk about that tomorrow too, because it's commercial. And that's what I'm building now. I'm just about to close like in 2 weeks on a Family Dollar. And my niche right now is $500,000 to $2 million. That's the transactions that I'm looking for. So if it's a $30,000 house, well, I just don't have time. And then I'm trying to be a developer. So next time I come back, Mr. Landlord, in 10 years, it's going to be on. All right? So that's my deal. Hey, I'm just an average person. I got nothing really, no guarantees, warranties. Everything I say is a lie. So just don't believe what I say so you can't sue me. Okay? We'll just call it even. I'm a simple person. My concepts are simple. It's not complicated. If you have any questions, you don't understand what I'm saying, it's okay. I'll try to help you. All right, you got to take notes. I do have the podcast, and I say on the podcast, drop the hammer and pick up the notes. This is a perfect time for my man, Ron. Is anybody reads their messages for their company. Like a call comes in and I got a broken toilet. Who's that person that gets those messages? Is that you? Please stand up. I want you to feel ashamed. I want you to feel elated. Ron, you should be the first one. Ron has over 100 and something units and he's still checking messages. Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Do you feel empowered every time you see one of those messages? No. Who runs your life when you get those messages? Come on, y'all, sit down. Give these people a round of applause because they're not going to check the messages anymore. Don't check the messages. I know that was kind of reverse psychology. You thought I was going to praise you. No, I hammered you. I was going to murder you. I'm telling you, the best thing I ever did, I'm telling you, my business doubled is when I just let go and started trusting people. Yes, people have stolen money from me. Yes, I have been burned. But I'm telling you, the lifestyle that you really want, the freedom, the joy, all this stuff everybody says, this is why you won't be rich, I want to own real estate for this freedom. You have no freedom if you're checking messages. You're being controlled. Okay? I know I got deep. Take notes. All right, here's some books. There's another book I forgot to throw up there. My man inspired me. The Naked Mind, I just finished this book. It was off the chain. Not only it's about alcohol, but it's about just the way we think. Millionaire Fastlane made me a multimillionaire. If you struggle about raising money, I'm going to talk a lot about raising money today. Raising Capital by a guy named Hunter is a phenomenal book. An average person raises hundreds of millions of dollars. If you have problems with self-esteem and you're just getting ballistic in your mind, you need to get John Ashcroft's book called Soundtracks, and you can never go wrong with Jim Rohn. And if you still like real estate, this is all personal development stuff. And of course, my favorite book, almost besides the Bible, is Millionaire Fastlane. But there's a book I just finished by Ali Boone, A-L-I. She's a female writer, and it's What Not to Do in Real Estate. It is a phenomenal book, and what she says in that book is like, what is your sanity worth? And that's why I try to get, I try to do the physical, get you to stand up, think about it. Why am I taking messages? I'm telling you, at the end of the day, was it really worth it? I was trying to break Ron down really hard. I'm like, have you ever heard of this thing called opportunity cost? Does anybody know what opportunity cost? Right? So if you're screwing around with a $2 message that says, my toilet's broken, you understand what I'm saying? The old school thinking's over with. And I'm old school, I'm 48 years old. That's how I used to think. I try to hang out with young people all the time. Stop thinking old school. You've got to wake up every day, and there's a new way to do it. You got to look at your goals daily, every day. I have just been crazy about this. My business has exploded because what am I trying to do? Where am I going? These are just reminders of you as a business owner, someone that wants to go for you young people. You need to just review your goals. If you want to be a superstar, rewrite your goals out every day. All right. A lot of people complain, I got no money. A lot of people say I can't do it. There's opportunities everywhere. I want you to close your eyes and just go, kind of move your arms around. More physical kinesthetic here. And there's so many opportunities you can't even grab them. That's what I want you to see. Open your eyes back up. That's all those 20s up there. That's how many opportunities there are. A lot of people I hear with real estate, there's no deals. There really is no deals, right? But I was just talking to my homie on my flight up here. Yeah, I just closed 3 deals last week. Or I got a phone call just before I came up here, some postcard I mailed like 2 years ago. Hey, I got this house I want to sell. My mom has dementia. Okay? There's opportunities everywhere. There may not be an opportunity for you right at that moment, but your neighbor in this room has an opportunity that they can't close. Or they don't know how to raise private money. That's an opportunity for you. There are so many opportunities to make money, to live a life. You just are not trained to see it. When you want to buy a new car, you want a red car, and all of a sudden you see law of attraction, you get the point. All right. Man, my little timer. Am I talking too fast? Well, you just give me some hand signals, right, on my time? All right. So think of it like this. I want you to all write this down, please. Leverage. My whole thing is on leverage. You need to leverage people, and that's not a mean thing to say. You want to leverage finances. You want to leverage technology. We're going to break money down. We're going to break technology. You want to leverage Mr. Landlord. You want to leverage this room. He stood up, I don't know if Mr. Landlord thought this way, but all those people that stood up that had all these units, I wonder how much economic power does that's leverage. Or I'm a part owner of an accounting firm. I know, I own an accounting firm. Isn't that crazy? And that's another story. And, we say we have like 12 employees. We have over X amount of years of experience. In this room alone, Mr. Landlord has, thousands of hours. Like when the guy that scared everybody with Mr. Compliance, no offense to homeboy, but he kind of scared me a few times. I was like, thank God I'm not a single family. But I was like, I had a lead-based problem. And you know who I called? I wish he was here today, was Brad Grayson. Does anybody know Brad Grayson, Mr. Freedom? Yeah. I was in a panic attack. This mom came in, and she had a little piece of paper, slapped it on my property manager's desk. My baby has lead. Now, you only lived in that crib for 30 days. How's that possible? Well, she probably we figured I called Brad in a panic, somebody that I met at Mr. Landlord, crying, I'm about to lose it all. I'm going to go to hell because this baby's got lead. I'm going to die. Does anybody else's mind go like that? All what I worked for, 23 years down the drain, just because of that. You feel me? Anybody ever feel that way? Shaking, perspiration. Some people get diarrhea too. That's me. All of a sudden I can feel my stomach curling. I was like, oh no. And I leveraged Mr. Landlord. He never takes my calls, so that's okay. I knew he wasn't going to call me, answer my phone. But Brad took my call. Brad, he's like, no big deal, man. It's almost impossible for that child to have that fast, that quick, at that level. Because these levels were off their chart. Well, this individual was from, house to house, getting free rent, using their baby as a lead baby. Okay, that's okay. I should have a picture of a lead baby, but people are laughing. But I did the exact same technique that his name was Paul, right? The guy that was here earlier. I did get cash for keys for the lady, But I leveraged this room. I leveraged that relationship, and the $300 ticket that you paid to get here. I was ready to give up a whole house. She's going to sue me. She's going to take it. She got free crib. That's how my mind operated. I noticed this the other day, Facebook groups. Now, I'm not a big Facebook person. I know I look like I am. I use it strategically for business. But there's so much content inside Facebook groups, in Marketplace, and then mentor. Your mentor could open doors for you that I can go on and on. All right, we're all cool on the leverage. Any questions on leverage? Okay. Leverage number 1, virtual assistants. Okay, does anybody have a VA now? Smart? Okay, man. When was last time I came here, we talked about virtual assistants. I have a whole course on virtual assistants. Guys, go to Fiverr tonight. If you go to Fiverr tonight, I'm trying to think, what could I get? I have no more Mr. Beast cookies. What could I get? I did bring some books. All right, on top of the books that for the first 100 people. I'll give you a book if you can show me. How many books did you bring?
A couple.
All right. I want you to go on Fiverr.com and get something made on there. Fiverr.com. You got to do it tonight. I'm going to be here tomorrow. You got to come up to me and show me that you got something done on Fiverr. And if you don't, I will bless you in some form or fashion. I have books out there. I'll give you a free book. Automatic. Okay? We cool? All right. And then moving on. Now, the best $200 I ever spent in my life is this is how you leverage people. I hired a retired banker to do my financial statement. Best $200, write it down. Go find someone to do your financial statement. This retired banker, that's all the dude did for 30, 40 years is underwrite people and loan people real estate at this bank. I built a relationship with this dude. I said, hey, could you help me with my financial statement? He said, absolutely. I'm like, how much are you going to charge? $200. Today I still use, and I borrowed millions of dollars from $200. That's the power of leverage. Okay? I have 100 of those examples. Now, this is kind of me today. I have a general manager that I leverage. Ron, pay attention. This is you. I don't look at the phone at all. And we'll get into this because I'm gonna show you my system at the end. Way down, of how I actually kind of do it, or how to do a system. But my general manager, Liz, she handles all my contractors, the insurance, the accounting, the HR. She's my gatekeeper. She manages the property manager. And we manage, just in Oklahoma City, we manage over 150 units, and I have a part-time property manager. And then all my other ones, I already have management companies that run them, and I just get K1s, and I just get financial reports, and I just hang out down there. But she runs all of that so I can work on this little savvy thing, and then I build all my partners, and then I just look all day long looking for general managers to run other businesses. But this is how I run my whole little empire. We have Airbnb partnerships. I got a dude in one of my buildings. There's 8 of those. He makes $2,000 a month gross revenue. Whoopie whoop for him. I make $900. Great for me. But she manages those people. I lend money out, private money. We're going to get into that. Investments, outsource the accounting. All this is done through systems. All this through policies and procedures. Okay. So for you to have freedom, I technically work 1 hour a week, and I meet with Liz, just Liz, 9:30 in the morning. She has all these spreadsheets, and we just go over every asset. What are we doing? This is how much we're going to do. And then I leave the meeting, and then I just go build another business or whatever I want to do. Okay? Does everybody get this? You can take pictures of this, everybody. This is just my formula for how I leverage how I have freedom. All right, let's talk about money. Anybody want to talk about money?
Money.
Money. If you can't say the word money, you probably shouldn't be in the room. Let's talk about money. Say money. Money. All right. You got to get out of your comfort zone. The magic happens. You got to, like I've been trying to coach you this whole time to think bigger and think outside of your comfort zone. Okay? Has anybody ever done a technique out of comfort? Anybody taking a cold shower? Yeah, it's out of your comfort zone. Right? That's just one technique. You got to practice. I would try to set a goal, really put it in your phone, maybe 3 months or a month from now. Hey, what did I do out of my comfort zone? Like here, Mr. Taylor, he tried to get you to do it, or he's trying to prep you. Hey, go meet someone you don't know. That person that you're walking up to, they're as scared as you are. We're just ashamed for some weird reason. We shouldn't be ashamed about the blessings that we receive, the abundance of life, or the joy that there's somebody in this room, I don't know, maybe it's Andy. But of course, Andy changed my life with HVAC. But there's somebody that I met in this building 12 years ago, or wherever I went with Mr. Landlord, that taught me about doorknobs on the bottom. Don't ever put locking doorknobs. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I learned that at Mr. Landlord. But all right, let's move on. So a mind once expanded never goes back to the original. So that's what I try to do in the beginning, this first 5 slides, is to expand your mind. What you can do, what Mr. B, when I heard the first time I heard the word ghost kitchen, I was like, man, what asset can I convert into a ghost kitchen? You got Uber Eats, you got all this stuff. You don't need an employee, you just need a cook and a food prep person, and you can run a whole restaurant right now. Just leveraging Uber Eats, DoorDash. I was like, man, how many vegan restaurants are out there? Here we go. All right, so it takes knowledge, skills, and attitude to raise private money. You have to be relentless about it, okay? Now this process, I'm going to go over a couple case studies. This process is not easy, okay? And this is, I'm talking fast, I'm making it easy as possible, and people just give up. And it took me almost 9 years to really dial in on, and I was on private money, but I was real casual with it, okay? But you have to be relentless with it. You have to keep pursuing it. You got to keep talking about it. You got to ask people. When you find a private lender, ask them about it. Mike Todd is a private lender. He loans money in Nashville. Not only that, I talk to him about IRA stuff all the time because I have a self-directed IRA. I have $80,000 right now. Anybody want to borrow money? I'm about it. It's 100% tax-free. So, we'll get into that in a minute. So, capital is scarce, vision is. You got to have a vision. It takes money. I don't have money. There's private money everywhere. But you got to have a vision of what it's looking like. You're never going to attract it if you don't know. Does that kind of make sense? So people buy into your vision. So this is the new thing that I work on right now is kind of partnering people that want to be in real estate really bad. Have you ever met those people? They're everywhere, right? Your hairdresser, your nail person. Man, I'm going to buy a house next tomorrow. Has anybody had those conversations, right? Well, they bought in the vision. We just sell on the vision. We can work together. That's a way you could parlay into private money. You have the idea, they can give them the benefits, they get results, and you got to give them belief. It's a new business concept for a lot of people. It's new. Private money, letting go of their money. I didn't know I could turn my IRA into a self-directed IRA. And again, this is hours and hours of content. Now, I have a bunch of slides. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, but I'm covering these kind of broad, and we can go deeper into this at a later time. So, you got to ask for the money. Constantly ask. Anybody a private lender in here now? Okay, there you go. Look around. I'm one of them. Okay, so all right. 9 years I failed. Don't be like me. I was too casual. I was just kind of casual about it. Everybody else was doing it. I didn't think they would believe in me. I didn't have an education. I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody knows anything. But the only way you can do it, if you take it serious and be professional about it, you can overcome this. You can do it. If you work on this a little bit every day, you can do private money. You got to sell your vision. All right, we'll skip that slide. All right, so what's your goal? I always think in my mind, what am I trying to do? With private money, it's a win-win situation. They have an issue, you have an issue. Just like you buying distressed property. They have to sell the asset, or they don't even know it's an asset. They want to sell this thing, and I want to buy it. Okay, we all got this win-win kind of mentality. That's your goal. My goal is to loan you money on a secure asset. As a private lender, I want you to make money. I just want you to pay me back with interest. It's a win-win, okay? So, has anybody who's new to private money? Or who has not borrowed private money? Okay, cool. So all we're going to learn today. A private lender could be this, and this is going to be crazy when I'm going to say this, because I'm recording this, it's going to be on my podcast. But do you guys know Al Williamson? Okay, I won't tell the truth right here. He called me 6-8 months ago. Hey, I want to borrow money from you. Okay. And I'm like, what's it for? I'm doing this project in Sacramento. Okay. How much you need? X amount. I'm like, hey man, I only loan money that's personal guarantee. Oh, we can't do it. All right. I didn't loan him any money. But yesterday, he calls me. I need to borrow money. For what? Man, we're tapped out on this project. How much you need to borrow? $30,000. I go, how long you need to borrow it for? 6 months. What's your collateral? You'll be in third position. I know.
You're getting a high rate of return.
Listen, this is awesome. Now, I'm not a super private lender. I just been dabbling with this. I like to borrow people's money, put it to work. But I like to loan it out too, I want to be, And I was like, okay, and what are you going to use the money for? I gotta clear up some stuff so we can refinance. There's a couple of these weird things. We're a little over leveraged that we can't get the loan approval. They got it stabilized. They just need this $30,000 hump. This is unique. This is not normal. I said, okay. Now, my next question. What do you think my next question was? Personal guarantee. What, are you going to personal guarantee? He was like, yes, and my wife, Moni. I said, we'll write you the loan. No problem. And here's your points. Do you want to know how much I'm charging him? No, he's my homie. 10%. He's my homie. Now we're going to get to the next slide. I should have said that right. Where is that at? Don't be confused. This ain't hard money. Okay? Get back to it. All right. So I charged them. You can see my email. I charged them 2 points, $600. Whoopee woo. I charged them 10% interest only, 6 months with an option for 6 months, and I may squeeze in a little price if he needs to extend. But he really only needs it for 30 days. 3 months. 6 months, somewhere in there. 30 days, 90 days, 3 months to him. And I can do this all out of my IRA, all tax-free, self-directed IRA. All right? So, but that's me loaning money to Al. You should be borrowing money from me or anyone else, the 20, 30 people in the room. It's unlimited funding, unlimited deals. There's no limit to what you can do. There's no credit score you have to comply with. I've loaned probably 40, 50 people. I have not pulled anyone's credit. I don't want to spend the money. I don't have time. I loan on what? On the asset, on the collateral. And so you got, this is kind of a unique position here. I'm telling you what I do. I'm showing you both sides of the fence. Now, if I was coaching you, we would talk a little bit different, because you need to present this to the person that's loaning you the money. Now, as someone raised their hand in this room that said that they're a lender, they're pretty privy to what's going on, right? They know, so they're going to know those nuances. But I don't know if this is the time for this session, but the girl that's in my office, the general manager, her whole life savings is $150,000. That's what she has. That's her whole savings. And I borrowed that money after 5 years of seeing all my HUDs, seeing all my transactions. And I have a new book coming out this October called Private Money, Be the Bank. And and I put her story in there. It took her 5 years to loan me money. And I never beat her over the head. I'm like, girl, you need to loan me money. It was just like, hey, there's an opportunity right here. You can loan this. And she made $6,000 on that transaction. What's that percentage? What's that ROI? You can bless people by borrowing their money. It's not that you need, does that all make sense? All right. I know I'm all amped up on. Don't be confused. Hard money. Private money's fast and easy. You could do 100% financing. Hard money, that's people's job. So when I hear the word hard money, that's someone like they'll take the property, if you don't make your payment on the exact date. I've seen some weird things go down with hard money. Okay, private money is an opportunity for you to leverage and grow. And in my mind, I consider that person I'm borrowing money from a partnership. I enjoy Al. I met Al here several years ago, 8 years ago, and I want to help his business. And he that loan is, the risk level is real low compared to his $500,000 asset, this strip center that he has in Sacramento. Now, granted, I'm in third position, but guess what came across my mind? Hey, I'll pay all those jokers out and I'll buy that thing because I'm looking for assets. Again, I'm speaking from the wrong side. You guys need to be receiving on the other side. You need to be like, I want to borrow private money. So here's a case study. This is a house in Oklahoma City, 19 Northeast 65th. You can look this up at the county assessor. They wanted $90,000 for it. It's a 3-bed, 3-car garage, crib in a nice area, in a decent area. And the ARV came at $125. I got it under contract for $69. Someone passed on. They didn't want the house. Normal distressed property. Needed to rehab. Boom. Okay. So I met a private lender, Andy. He's an airline pilot, in a real estate club meeting similar to this. And he was loaning money and borrowing money. And I overheard him a couple times. So I texted him. I was nervous, just like you will be. When you call me, just text me. Hey, I have a deal. I soft texted the guy. I was like, hey, I was like, hey, I got to, because some private lenders, because right now I'm in the middle of an acquisition, I may not be able to lend you the money at that time. So you want to make a list of as many private lenders as possible because everyone's in a time zone different than you or at the part of their life, right? Does that all make sense? Like, it may not be advantageous for them at that time to loan you money. So I soft texted him. And this private lender, he was way more educated at loaning money than I was. And this is my first time borrowing money. So he's a realtor on top of that. He pulled comps and his said 85. I asked him, I softly asked him, here's the address, I would like to borrow $80,000. I got it under contract for $69. I want to use 100% financing. I want to use the $11,000 just to redo the bathroom and such. And I want to borrow 80, and he came back, hey man, I pulled comps, I only had 85. So basically I got slapped in the face. Does that make sense? But I thought with my comps, it was 125, but I pulled an appraisal. I always pull an appraisal. I always pull a drive-by appraisal on every asset that I buy. It's $200. If you don't do that, I would recommend you to do that. It's the easiest way to borrow money. There's your local appraiser in town can do a drive-by appraisal. Does everybody know what a drive-by appraisal is? The different levels of appraisals. Maybe we can go into that some other time. It's just a fast, quick appraisal, but it's bona fide. It's a legal document. That's what this company thinks it's worth, and it's usually less than. And I usually borrow in. I use that as a baseline for me. So when he said he said, hey, the comps came in at 85. I was like, oh man, I don't, what is he gonna loan me? And I just said, hey, here, I shot him back. Here's the deal. I already have a bank lined up, and I did. I always have dual financing. Every transaction I do, I have one bank and I have a bank in the backup, and I usually have private money. How I do deals now is like, I get it under contract, I try to find private money, and then I have a bank on the back, and then I have another bank. And we can get into that tomorrow, but these are all these nuances. So I sent him the appraisal. I said, hey man, the bank's already willing to loan me 75% of that appraisal, which is 93. But I didn't want to be over leveraged on that property. I didn't know. I just wanted to borrow 80. I just want to get $1,000 a month tenant, $1,100 a month tenant in there and move on. But number 4, I had options. You can negotiate with your private lender. Or I can find another private lender. And I was super lazy because banks just loan me money. Because when you get a portfolio and blah, 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 you guys all know stuff. So I just took action. He replied back. He's like, okay, we'll loan you $80,000, 40 out of my wife's IRA and 40 out of his IRA. And that was a private money transaction. Case study number 2. I own this property, 30301. This is a commercial property. And this is my favorite deal. This is why I don't like banks. So I got this under contract for $475. The ARV came in $650. Everybody do the calculation for me. 650 times point, it's probably 72%. Anybody? What's my LTV on for 470? 73%. All right. Well, I was nervous. When this building came up, it's 8,000 square foot commercial property, retail on the busiest street in Oklahoma City. And it was $525. When I offered $475, I thought we were going to negotiate. The gal took my offer. I got a little nervous. I was like, ooh. But she was exiting real estate. That's another thing that's great about real estate. There's opportunities everywhere. There's people that have been in the game a lot longer than I have, 40 years, 50 years, and they're exiting. There's always someone entering and exiting the market, just like a stock market. You got to look at it like that. So I got it under contract, and I was like, great. This realtor that got me this deal, there's more story to this, but the realtor got me the deal, and he's like, man, I got this great bank. They're backed by the Indian nation. They loan crazy. They loan 80, 90% without an appraisal. Oh, is that even possible? But I was like, sure, I believe you, realtor. That's where I went wrong. And I filled out the application, sent them my financial statement. Yeah, you're good. No big deal. I'm going to order the appraisal. And the dude goes on vacation. Does anybody go on vacation during a transaction? On a 600, that building's worth $800,000 probably now in Oklahoma City. You usually can't find retail space, 8,000 square foot. And so I was like, the dude left. So another person that I met at Mr. Landlord, Nashville, Tennessee. I was the speaker. I was in line checking into my hotel. There was a dude behind me. I didn't know anybody. I was scared just like you. I turned around. Yo, you want to go to lunch? Thinks I'm crazy? He's like, yeah. Well, he didn't know I was a savvy landlord though. So I'm hanging out with this guy. People come and say hi to me. Hey. And I built a relationship. 5 years later, I send him an email. Now, I talk to him a lot. This is a relationship, okay? Hey, I got this appraisal. This bank's jerking me around. Well, what happened was on Monday, I was supposed to close on Friday. There's a lot of stress here. This was a displaced tenant. He had to move in. He had to move in at September 3rd. He had to move in. He was going to lose his business if he did not move in because he had a retail business. The banker disappeared, got the appraisal on that Monday. Okay, you're going to have to bring 20%. That's normal, typical commercial, 20%, right? There's ways to do no money down deal. I was like, hey, buddy, we were very clear on the front end, Mr. Banker. It appraised for $650. Hey, I have $100,000 in cash. I need that money to use for tenant improvements called TI to fix it up. And yeah, that's fine. It's going to appraise, we're a bank. So he said that to me and then lied to me. Anybody ever lied to you before? Never. It's my first time. Damn. And I was like, okay. So on Monday, I had a choice, and I emailed Greg Meach. You can write his name down, Greg Meach, Gregmeech. He's a Houston, and he's in Houston. We're in several apartment deals. He's a private lender. I emailed him, hey, this bank is kind of messing me around. I told him in my email, I only need 30 days because I already had a bank in the background spooned up because I always have two banks. I always kind of, I present the offer, but I don't really pull the trigger. I kind of walk the banker. We have a class on that, kind of what I'm doing. And by Wednesday, he wired the money and I closed the deal. He loaned me $500,000. Just like that. He only wanted 1%. I paid him $5,000. The tenant moved in with $10,000 in cash. First and last, $5,000 a month rent. To this day, this property, where is it at? Come on. I have never put any money into this deal. That's the power of private money. You can put your hands together. Everybody can clap. It's okay. We can still be friends. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm telling you, I was that guy just like anyone else in this room. I was scared. I was nervous. But that transaction forced me to do something that I wouldn't want to do, and that's what I'm trying to do for you. Now it's just regular language. It's just like riding a bicycle. It just takes time. Can you do this? Yes. Now let's get into the action steps. Number 1, write it down. Don't fall asleep on me, homie. Don't sleep on me. All right. Make a list of potential lenders. I just gave you 2. Me and Greg Meach. Prepare in advance. I have cards over there. On that table, they stole my table over there. Hey, how you doing? I got stickers and cards over there, but I have cards that says, hey, I'm looking for a return, or working with you on private. It's my private money. I have a dedicated private money business card. That's just dedicated private money. If you want one, and I brought extras, I can give everybody one. Investors, I loan money. I never thought that I'd ever be a private lender. Local club meetings, events, online, referral. Events like this, if someone hosted a self-directed IRA, when they set these self-directed IRA meetings, anybody ever heard of those? They're trying to get you to use, Mike's up here telling you to put his money at his place. No offense. But when you go to those places, guess what's happening? Those people have money, and those people want to work their money. That's a great place to do it. That's why I have Mike's cell phone number. Hey man, where are you going to be? Because I want to be there too. 2, ask. You just got to start asking. Do you know anybody that does private money? Lead without leading. I build a credibility kit. You could be an author. How many transactions you've done. I have a whole course. Just on doing a credibility kit. In the credibility kit, I have letters from referrals from attorneys that I've done transactions with realtors. The questions that they're going to ask, be prepared, like, do you charge an application fee? What's the fees? Is there a wiring fee? What's the process? So I've already kind of given you the process. How does it work? How do I convert my IRA over? Hey, just call Mike Todd. How many times have I given out your number? Because a third-party sell is better than me because this person has maybe $500,000 or $1 million in their IRA, and I don't want to be the one leading them around. Hey, call someone that knows how to do it. Call an IRA custodial company and let them do it. What's interesting? So the girl that loaned me the $150,000, Liz. So for 5 years, I'm like, you got to do this. What's so crazy? When she did it, she got a checkbook IRA. Which I don't even have a checkbook IRA. She researched it so much, she knew more about her IRA than I did, and I barely just loan it out. You'd be surprised if you just give them a little information, some people will take it and run. Talk about closing. How does it work? How do I get the money from my IRA to that? These are nuances. These are questions that people are going to ask. What's going to happen if you don't make the payment? What happens if the house burns down? Okay, these are normal, typical questions that people want to know what's going to happen to them. You need to know those questions. Terms. What does it say? Turn on. What the heck? What in the world? Sorry. Here's the cool thing is terms. Is there a certain rate? I just charged Al 10%, right? Is that standard? Could somebody answer that?
Nothing's standard.
Nothing is standard. My mentor, private lender connoisseur, he always asks for 6. And if they don't give it to him, he just moves on. He has so much private money. He has like $6 million on his little spreadsheet of opportunity money. And it's 6. Anybody that says that, I just do 10, why not? But I've loaned 8%. I've loaned 6%. I've loaned signature loans out of my, it just doesn't matter. The great thing about an IRA, self-directed IRA, remember, Mike can't tell you what to do. You direct him. That's what it's called, self-direct. He just needs to comply. That's why you have your money there at the custodial, and then you tell him what to do. Hey, I want you to loan my homie here $30,000, and I'm gonna just you're gonna have to have some sort of agreement, interest rate or what it is, because he's got to file. That's it. You can loan money out of your IRA to gold. And hard money, I think, is over 12%. And I just want to be fair. I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. And loans could be 6 months, 12 months, 24. They could be forever. All right, so you got to step into your greatness. Now, like I said, Liz, it took her 5 years for her to, and one day she just decided to do it. And it was never intentional. I tried to talk to her in the beginning. She's like, I don't know. That's her whole life savings. And she just saw the transaction. She saw my integrity. 5 years later, it just happens. You need to have your objections ready, written down, and almost kind of understood. And the only way to do that is over and over. My man over here is a Procter & Gamble connoisseur. How many sheets are in a Bounty?
Well, there's several different sizes.
Tell me about it. Tell me about the Bounty.
Well, you can get the 8-inch roll, which is our newest roll, if you want to have enough so it never runs out, so you don't have to go to the store all the time.
Okay.
Our smallest roll is a double roll, which has about 100.
How many ounces are in toothpaste?
Well, I don't make the toothpaste, but there's, from my own knowledge,
What? You see how he already just knew? He just knew. That's how you need to be. He's just comfortable with the product. He's worked there for 30 years. Obviously, it was easy for him. But it was just fascinating. He was so comfortable how he was explaining Bounty to me. He tried to get me to buy Bounty, and I was like, dude, you lost your mind. Yeah, you lost your mind. Bounty, picker, pecker, pucker, upper roller? No. It's paper, homie. He didn't try to clown me. He's like, well, your hands will get cut. He's got VIP Bounty at the house. See, private money, same way how you do it. All right.
Third-party tax.
And you can do this a little bit at a time. Okay, you should practice here. I love role playing. You probably do that with your kids. I do that with my kids and negotiate. I role play with them all the time. What they say this, what are they gonna say? Just practice. You need to what happens if my house burned down? I don't know. Well, it's secure and protected by insurance, and you're a lost payee. What's a lost payee? Well, if I can't cash a check, if it burns down, the house will be insured more than the amount that you're loaning me. So let me give you an example. If it's a $100,000 house and you're going to loan me $80,000, it's going to be insured for $100,000. If the house burns down, you're going to get a $100,000 check. Now, I would like for you to give me $20,000. We will work that out in the contract. But I'm just saying, right? Insurance is going to cover you. That's an objection. Why should I loan you money? Well, you don't have to loan me money, but you take a casual approach. Do you want to make a return? You don't need to convert people over to be private lenders. It's a pretty common thing, but there's so many people out there that just don't know it. You just need to just kind of feel comfortable with it. Just like Bounty, you melt in it. All right? All right, relationships. Be consistent. So, on my future, how much more time do I have?
10 minutes.
Are you serious?
No, you got 15.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right, let's speed this up, man. All right, I got a course at the end. If you want it, it's 8 hours. It's a long story, but man, we're going to have to speed this up. This student of mine, in 6 weeks, he raised $100,000 and bought 2 assets, and we recorded the whole process. And so that's a course I have if you're interested. All right, so systems. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. All right, well, come on, you got that. All right, this is how I do it. This is how I started. People ask me when I got to 50 units, it was 10 hours a week. So Ron, find yourself in here, homie. 80 hours, 80 units, I was 15 hours a week. 142 units, I was going crazy. And then I moved it over to 500, I just 1 a week. And that was that original slide that I showed you. That's my claim to fame. Technology, forms, VAs, staff, and a mastermind. Those are the things that you need to be working on. Technology, forms, aka documents, attorneys, VAs, staff, and a mastermind. A mastermind is going to push you, should be hiring a VA. Ron, how many people are going to do the VA challenge tonight? I need to make sure. We may have to juice it up. All right. You got to change your mindset. You have to have systems. For me to have that many units, I have a system. I have a system of how I put my underwear on. Right leg first. That's a system. I have blogging tasks, cleaning. Everything is systematized. When you systematize everything, it's stable. Maximum efficiency. You don't waste anything. You can sell the business. You can step out of the business and not work in your business. There's a good guy named Michael Gerber, E-Myth. Check it out. First of all, you got to take inventory about your business activities, analyze what you're currently doing. You create a process. You break it down. This is like writing a course. You brainstorm. What can you automate? What's the most efficient? What's going to bring you the most money? Taking messages about broken toilets will never make you wealthy. It's never going to happen. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I was there. My very first commercial property, I was cleaning toilets. I was crying. It was an empty building. I'm like, I'll never clean a toilet again. It's just not efficient. I could raise private money. I can come to St. Louis and raise private money. Execute, implement, and test. You're constantly going to be changing this process. Like you wrote this book, right? It was a process. You had to write an outline, right? Process. And you had to read it 1,000 times, which is a process. Or you can hire somebody for $100 to read your book. Use Upwork. So how to create a system, create a workflow, step by step, and then each time you're going to go back. You got to be flexible on when you're creating your system, because you're going to create it this way. Like I was a DJ. Or this AV guy here. He's a rock star. He was very comfortable. He knows he needs 2 speakers, 2 stands, cables, extra cable, 3 mic cables. It's a system. He has it written down in a checklist. Do you have it written down, sound guy? How many times have you been to a gig, you forgot something? You'll never do that again because you can't perform. Right? There was a time I used to DJ a wedding, showed up there, forgot the stands. There was a time I DJ'd a wedding and forgot the pants. I had to run to Walmart and get these ghetto slacks. Man, this long story. So, I sequence it in order. What works for you is for you. I use a 3-ring binder. Some people use technology. We got to get going. All right, that's a process. That's a closing process. I'm not going to tell you how many slides I have. These sheets are in the course. All right, I'm going to move even faster. I got to get a drink of water, man. All right, let's move faster. How much time, Mr. Landlord? 13 minutes. Mr. Details. All right, get ready. We're about to get ballistic. Forget Zoom. Use Loom. No, I use Loom. Zoom is awesome. I use Loom for all my training and stuff. Here's Loom you can use for your phone. I use this for training. I use this for all my VAs. This is how I have a problem. I even use this with my partners. When I have to tell them something and I don't have time, I can click a button, Zoom pops up, records what I'm saying, and I send it to them. This is another app, remove.big. Here's a video. I just use Loom on my phone to record my screenshots. Okay, does that all make sense? I know I'm moving fast, but I want to give you some practical. So you can get this app, remove.big. It's not an app. You just go to that website, and this is the video. Oh my gosh. God. I guarantee my internet went down.
You remove the background.
No, my internet went down. Anyway, you just upload you click on a photo, it will cut out the whole background for you, free. I use TouchNote. Does anybody use TouchNote? This is how I raise a lot of private money. I use it for sales, relationships. This is an app that will send you a postcard. Here's examples of the postcards. Like I spoke in Chicago, there's my folks in Chicago, and I was like, hey, let's do a group coach, and then I hit a button, and it mailed everybody a postcard. I saw my son reading, I took a picture, I wrote him a letter, son, I'm so proud of you for reading, and he got a postcard in the mail, 98 cents. That's my daughter, okay, get the goals on task. So we were talking about goals earlier. This is $5 a month. This is how I stay a high achiever. I go through my goals every day. There's a vision board on here. There's action steps on here. You put a goal in here, you're going to produce. You're going to get a goal. You're going to have to be disciplined to log in here. You can get a phone app, but I use this every day. Goals on track. It's like 60-something bucks a year. It's the best money I spent. A lot of people are not leaving. A lot of people have like 10 units or 50 units and below. I use Buildium. Appfolio I don't like it. But anyway, there's another one, Tenant Cloud, a really big one if you have more than like a couple hundred units. Resman, R-E-S-M-A-N, is a phenomenal financial property management software. Monday.com, I use Monday.com to run my whole empire. And this is project management software. It's customizable. Think database. You got to watch a lot of videos, but Monday.com, you can write your whole property management software with Monday.com. All right, does anybody use Google Tasks for their day-to-day? This is a great it's free, it's in the App Store, but this will keep all your tasks in a tab. Anybody have like 10,000 tabs open? And you're like, where the heck is that tab? That's my creative people. They're my people. This is another app on Chrome Web Store, but it's Tab Manager Plus. It is amazing. You hit this button on your tab, and it will show you every single window that's open. So you can just click that window and get it there. I don't know, I've had like 30 windows open. I'm like, where am I? What am I trying to do? I hit that button and click there. If you have a business and you're looking for like a marketer, this website, Market for Hire, is just for like your business. And it's kind of like outsourcing a freelancer. It's Marketer for Hire. Anybody have any Airbnbs? Have any problems cleaning those Airbnbs? Go to Turnover B&B. It's like a outsourcing cleaning service, kind of like Angie's List, but for Airbnb. Turnover B&B. If you have more of the Airbnb stuff proper, you need for insurance. A lot of young people don't know how to insure their short-term rental or extended stay rental. Proper is a great company. Sketchboard.com. If you're a visual person and you need to do like whiteboard stuff and keep it all digital and share it, Sketchboard. I know, I'm running out of time here. Okay, I'm into development now, and so I'm like laying out plans, and it's kind of CAD in a cloud. This is for the kind of the engineer type, or modeling. CAD, crowd, you can find people. Okay, I use Google Slides. We were talking about like a vision board, does anybody use Google Slides, like the presentation software? Like this is all built on Google Slides. Well, I also use Google Slides to train people, but I also do it for my own goals, or when I start using Google Slides for my process. So like engagement, like if I was going to write a private money course, it would be like, first one, well, you got to meet the person, and then slide 2. And I use Google Slides just to visualize the process, and then I break it down through checklists. Slide dial. Everybody know what slide dial is, right? Everybody has slide dial? You can't get a hold of somebody, and it goes right to their voicemail. Bang, bang. Hey, you didn't pay your rent. You never have to ring the phone. It's smooth. It's so smooth, I like slide broadcast too. Even more smooth, I like cowboy. You can buy houses this way. This is just a way to leave voicemails on people's phones without bothering them. They have an opportunity later to listen to the message. Hey, I'm interested in purchasing your home. Please give me a call back. Drop cowboy. Everybody knows about Canva, right? You don't know? Okay, I'll tell you. Canva is a great free software. Guy Kawasaki, the guy that like basically made Apple's amazing, owns this software, or it's an app online or a website that you can design the most amazing flyers with. And it's free. Drag and drop, templates. If you're not creative or you need to bust out a quick flyer that looks like a professional artist did it, Canva. And in Canva, people are probably using Canva and charging you. Queensboro, this is a great place. You need monogram stuff. You can do like one one embroidery or a hat. I do these for gifts. I use it for my staff, for new businesses, high quality. Push Health. This is amazing. Well, I don't know if we have time on this, but I would write this down, Push Health. So during the COVID craziness, we felt like my wife had needed a E-Pack, a Z-Pack. What is that thing called? Okay. See, whatever the thing, like Z-Pack. Like if you're sick, right? Or you think you got COVID, they should have gave this out a long time ago, but I don't want to get into politics. So this is amazing. This is the deal. Does anybody know about Push Health? Okay, cool. I need to get paid from Push Health. So instead of, it's a doctor in the cloud. I go up there, I got some symptoms, I need to get a prescription, doctor pops up there, I got my last doctor I got up there, instead of me driving to the copay or blah, 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 okay? I just go to Push Health, I got these symptoms, doctor comes up there, I had an army doctor up there, what do you need? I was like, hey, I want I think we need a Z-Pack, right? I don't know what the hell this stuff is. And boom, 2 minutes later, prescription was at CVS, picked it up. That service is $65. It's incredible. It's the future. Do it later. This is for Android only. I don't like Apple products. Oh, no, you did. Well, Do It Later is a phenomenal, just get this. I use this every day, all day. Schedule text messages, reminders, all kinds of stuff. We don't have any time to go into this stuff. Shift, if you have multiple accounts and you got to log into 5 different Gmails, does anybody have that problem? Or you work for somebody and you got to run their business too. Shift costs money. You can put 2 things in there, but it will keep it all in one place, but all separate. Like you have them on the side, like, hey, I'm going to log into this. You don't have to re-log in, because Google kicks you out if you got too many accounts. Shift fix that. It fixed it. Now I'm getting real ghetto, but it fixed it, right? All right. Now, this is the secret weapon for all you little wholesalers. You know where wholesalers operate? This is their software that they use. Investor Lift. This is the technique. How they spoon them up, how they get the deals. Go to Invest. This is a huge conglomerate that serves the nationwide wholesalers. You know, those wholesalers are doing it virtually around the world, doing 500 deals. This is the platform that they use. If you want to take your wholesale business to the next level, Investor Lift. Temi.com. I use this service all the time. This is how I write books. I talk into Temi. It transcribes it for me. I send it to a book writer. Hey, homie, fix this for me because I sound ghetto. Can you make me write? I use Temi.com. Notarize.com. I've closed many transactions in random places from the toilet to the beach, all with Notarize.com. That's a good commercial. From the toilet to the beach. They don't see me down here. They see me up here. She's like, raise your right hand. Are you Mr. VanCauwenbergh? Yes. I did. But I don't think I was in the bathroom that time. But I was on the beach, though. But I just made the bathroom up. Don't worry. I wiped and washed my hands. You people that don't have accountants, 1099.com. Or online, 1099. What does it say over there? For you last-minute Sallies that can't get your 1099s correct, 1099online.com. So you could issue 1099s and be compliant. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of people are scared of Google. If you ever want to know everything that's ever happened for you on Google, everything on the planet, every text messages, every download, you can download that stuff. You have access to that stuff. You go to that website. No www. Go to takeout.google. It's very fascinating. You can download your whole life. Everything you've ever done with the word Google involved. You own it, and you're allowed to take it. So if you're a paranoid, or if you're in a legal lawsuit, and you have a Google voice number, and you get all those text messages from 30 years ago, they're up there. Buildasign.com. Everybody should know this one. Real simple, real fast. You can order a sign, one sign at a time, license plate sign for your house, reasonably priced, run deals all the time. I use it all the time. Now for bandit signs, I use dirtcheapsigns.com. If you're going to order more than 100 signs. That's dirtcheapsigns.com out of Dallas. Super fast, they're $1 a sign, screen printed, money in the bank. If you're a wholesaler, but I don't recommend it. All right, If you can't focus, seems like focus, you might need a friend. Focus, this is for your generation. Focusmate.com. This is for the young people. If you need someone to be accountable to, it's a free service. You log in, and you and your buddy from somewhere around the planet, you guys can work good together. They're online, you're online. Some people need this kind of accountability. Swappa.com, this is where I buy all my used electronics. So if you have any children that just continue to take their phone into the shower, has it ever happened to you? That just happened to me. My daughter, I'm like, what happened? I had it in the shower. No, you're not supposed to put the phone into the shower. Like, I thought it was a common knowledge. I just found out it's not. I mean, water and electronics don't mix, y'all. Do you know that? Yeah, I know. You probably did too. You poor dad. You know how many cell phones I bought so far? 3, and she's only 13. And she just got her phone. This isn't like she had it since 8. Swappa.com is where I get all my electronics. So I buy all my cell phones there, all used stuff there. You can buy like a year-old phone for like half price. And it's guaranteed, it's legit. I probably spent thousands of dollars on Swappa. I buy my staff stuff on there. Phone Scoop, people ask me, what's the phone you use? Why do you use it? Phonescoop.com, if you type in Phone Scoop, compare, you can get Trello. Does anybody use Trello? I like you. Man, only 2 people. We don't have time. Mighty Text. If you're an Android person, you should be. Everybody should know about Doug Hop, Hub. Everybody, inside, this is built inside your Google. I can sign documents. It saves my documents. I can get signatures. I use this every day. Okay, FamilyTreeNow.com. You want to stalk somebody? Man, are we not having a round table? Because this is my round table party trick. I start finding out who you dated, who you kissed the first time. You can find that person on FamilyTree.com. It's a Nigerian website. It's off the chain. You want to find something about somebody, you won't find it on there. We don't have time. Someone slowed me down. All right, smallpdf.com. So everybody needs to go to Family Tree now and do like your boyfriend from back in high school. It's fun. I can find your phone number. I can find everybody's phone number in this room right now. Even some crazy people that I rode with think they have it undercover. But I'm not going to say your name now. I can find out who you dated in high school. On there. It's sickening. The FBI can't even get this shut down. All right, moving on. Smallpdf.com, it's like Adobe in the cloud. So here's something that you do. So now the future is QR code, which I knew about that 10 years ago. But I've been going to parties, like events like this, and like, what's your business card? Millennials don't want business cards. They want a QR code. But if you can go to QR code generator, you can get a lot of people don't know this. You can get a QR code that goes right to their contacts without going to a website. So this is another party trick. I'll show you that later.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.